Samsung S23 Ultra versus iPhone 14 Pro Max. Which one is the king of smartphones? Well, today we're gonna compare everything from the design to the displays, speakers, performance, cameras, and more. Now, I have to say I was surprised by this new Samsung once I took it out of the box. Now, let me take off my case here to show you guys the differences. We got the flat sides and the rounded corners, but the Samsung, even though it looks the same online, they've actually changed the feeling of the phone in your hand. The screen no longer curves as far to the side, and these sides are actually flat with a little bit of curve on the front and the back, just like the rumors for the upcoming iPhone 15 Pro Maxes. And this thing feels amazing in the hand, better than the iPhone. It's kind of the best of both worlds, flat on the sides, plus a little bit of curve to make it feel thinner, when it is actually a little bit thicker than the previous one. I like that the top is completely flat, so overall, I would have to give the design win to Samsung. Now, I do wish that this red looked a lot more red. I'm not a fan of it in person, and I do like the iPhone's camera design a little bit better. Now, with that, as far as the cameras, these things gotten bigger this year because we have a 200 megapixel camera. 108 was already crazy. Now, of course, we're gonna do a blind camera comparison, including the new Pixel 7 Pro. Those are always a ton of fun, so make sure you guys are subscribed. And with that, I'm also gonna do another one comparing the S23 Ultra against the S22 and S21 Ultra to see if there's really that big of a difference, so enable those notifications. Now, the Samsung has their infamous S Pen, which is really sweet that it's built into the phone itself. If you love to draw or take notes, that is a huge win. But the iPhone has MagSafe, which means you can use various accessories like the stand power set from our partners Moft. This is a two-piece set that includes my favorite MagSafe wallet and their magnetic power bank, which all snap together so you can use both of them at the same time, and it could support your phone both in landscape and portrait mode. Now, the Samsung doesn't come with MagSafe, but thankfully Moft has a solution with their magnetic ring sticker that you can get with the wallet. And bam, we have MagSafe on the S23 Ultra. They also have their adjustable phone lanyard, which is very versatile, has a bunch of cool features like a quick disconnect, a swivel hook, and you can wear it around the neck or crossbody style. It makes it easy to handle big phones like the Samsung or the 14 Pro Max, and you can be totally hands-free for your daily commute. It's the first lanyard specifically designed to be neutral and minimalist for men, and it's really high quality using metal parts with quick disconnects. So go ahead and check out the links to all of those items down in the description below. Now, inside, the Samsung has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery compared to about 4,300 in the iPhone, and you can charge it at 45 watts compared to 27. Now, as far as wireless charging, they made a change this year, and Qi charging only supports 10 watts now instead of 15, and to get the full 15, you have to use a new protocol with a different charger, but you have a similar thing with the iPhone using Apple's proprietary MagSafe charging. Now, as far as the actual battery life, Samsung has high claims, but we've seen time and time again, even though it has a bigger battery, the iPhone beats it out in terms of real-world battery life. Now, as far as the displays, both of these are gorgeous, high resolution, they get nice and bright. Now, the iPhone is rated up to 2,000 nits compared to 1,750, but those peaks will only happen in super bright sun outside. Now, if we manually max out the brightness, the iPhone is still brighter even if we enable the extra brightness mode. Now, taking a look at HDR video, a lot of times they look almost identical, but the iPhone does have more peak brightness in the highlights, along with a little bit more detail in those bright spots. So the iPhone does take the win here, but I will say if you're watching full screen video, I love that the Samsung just has that little cutout compared to the Dynamic Island, which is really big and it's way more distracting. Of course, that's because the Samsung mainly relies on its under display fingerprint sensor, whereas the iPhone uses all that space for Face ID. Now, Samsung has been doing a killer job with their speakers in their phone, so let's do a speaker comparison and let's hear which phone sounds better. Let me know which one sounded better to you. They both sound good. The iPhone sounds a bit more spatial, where the sound is evenly distributed, whereas the Samsung might have slightly higher brighter brights, but a bit less bass, but I wanna hear your guys' opinion. And now let's get into performance. Now, we have Geekbench 5 opened up right here, but they actually released Geekbench 6, which is more accurate, more up to date for modern phones. So we're gonna show you guys both. Now right here, we can see the iPhone has 6 gigs compared to 12 gigs on the Samsung. And we have Apple's A16 Bionic compared to the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. So let's go ahead and run our benchmark. All right, we have our scores, and as far as single core, the iPhone beats out the Samsung by 19%, and in multi-core, the Samsung's getting close, but the iPhone is still 10% faster. Now let's remember those scores, and we're gonna open Geekbench 6. We're gonna run that same CPU benchmark, but with this new test. Wow, this one's taking a lot longer to run, and the iPhone got done first. All right, wow guys, that is a bigger difference. Now the creators of Geekbench said this is more realistic and accurate, and now instead of a 19% gain for the 14 Pro Max, we have a 30% gain. And instead of 10% for multi-core, we have a 21% gain in favor of the iPhone. That is a big difference. Now, before the next test, I've got to talk about the best MagSafe iPhone case I've ever seen, the Magic Stand case from our partner Caseku. Not only is it surprisingly slim and durable, but it comes with a very strong 48 magnet MagSafe ring that actually doubles as a stand. Just pull out the ring to use it as a finger grip or as a stand, watching videos at any angle between 40 and 120 degrees. And the best part is that it folds back completely flush with the case, so you can still use it with your MagSafe chargers and accessories. So check out the link and all of the discount info in the video description below. Now with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, we also have a better graphics processor. We're gonna switch over to Vulkan here. We're gonna be using Metal for the iPhone, and let's compare the graphics performance. All right, so the S23 has a super low score, but it says that one or more of the workloads have failed. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna try this out with OpenCL. So this time it did finish properly, but the iPhone has over double the score for compute tasks. So maybe there are still some bugs or something that have to be fixed. So as far as compute, we know the iPhone is faster, but not by how much. So now we're gonna open 3D Mark Wildlife Extreme. We're gonna run the unlimited mode. So I'm gonna select that right here. That way there's no difference in resolutions, it's off screen. And let's see how these compare in terms of gaming. Interestingly, the iPhone's taking longer to load up this game. So maybe the Samsung has really fast storage. And look at that, the iPhone just got smoked. We have 17.9 frames per second compared to 22.7. The Samsung gets 29% better frames per second. Now, we have heard that the Samsung gets really hot and then dramatically slows down, so it can't maintain this. Now, we do want to test that ourselves, so we will be doing a full-on gaming comparison video and testing throttling and heat. So if you guys want to see that, make sure you guys are subscribed. And now let's talk about these cameras. Of course, the Samsung is now doing 200 megapixels, which is insane. Now the iPhone's 48 megapixels already looked more detailed than the S22 Ultra's 108. Here's a photo side by side. You guys let us know which one looks better. Now it also has a 3x lens to match up with the iPhone, and they both have ultra wide lenses. Now, one of the weird things is that Samsung seems to have downgraded the selfie camera. It used to be 40 megapixels and it looked better than the iPhone, better than the Pixel, looked amazing. Here's a shot from both of them. You guys take a look and let me know which one looks better to you. And remember, we're gonna do our blind, unbiased camera comparison, so we'll be able to choose which one looks better without knowing which one is which. And with that, we're gonna compare this 10 megapixel to the previous 40 on the S22, as well as the S21, to see if it's gotten better or worse. Now, the last thing I wanna mention that's cool is that you don't have to shoot the whole 200 megapixel. If I go into camera mode here, select this button, I can select the full 200, or I could select 50, or I can do the downsampled one, which goes from 200 down to 12. So that is a nice option. So with all that said, which phone is the king of flagship phones? Well, I'll be honest, it is very, very tough. Some people were really disappointed with the new Samsung, but using it, holding it in the hand, it does seem like a decent update, but it definitely is iterative. It's not a big change at all. People used to say iPhone barely makes any changes. Well, with this one, we got a ton of updates, and it was a really, really nice upgrade. So I wanna hear from you guys. Which phone do you think is the best flagship phone? Let me know down in the comment section below, and we're gonna be running some more tests using these phones to figure that out for ourselves in our upcoming videos. Go ahead and click that circle above to subscribe. Check out one of those great videos right over there. This has been Max, and I'll see you in the next one.